Hello Year 9 and welcome to Virtual Careers Inspiration Day 2021. This day is a unique opportunity to gain an insight into a range of careers and different industry sectors. You will investigate a career of your choice to discover the skills, qualities and attributes required for success, the pathways and routes into the careers, and most importantly, local businesses linked to your career that you could visit for your Year 10 Work Shadow Day and be interviewed by for Year 11 Employer Mock Interview Day. To make the most of the day, please ensure that you follow all instructions carefully and complete all activities to the best of your ability. Of course, we expect you to conduct yourself to the same high standard that you would during a normal lesson. Engage with all activities and aspects of the day. It's designed to be all about you and your future career opportunities, so make the most of it and you will get the most out of it. In terms of the logistics of the day, students who would normally be in English and Maths lessons during period 1 and 2 will follow the timetable below for the day. So your activities for Virtual Careers Inspiration Day will be during lesson 1 and 2. From lesson 3 onwards, you will follow your usual timetabled lessons and you will have first lunch today. In the afternoon, it is lessons 4 and 5, where you will be completing the Virtual Careers Inspiration Day activities if you would normally have RP or PE and English lessons during those periods. Again, you'll all be on first lunch. The schedule for the day is applicable to the morning and the afternoon. It's exactly the same, it's just there's two different groups of students doing it, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So I will talk through this in more detail for the morning and then just show you what the times are for the afternoon because they are exactly the same in terms of activities. So between 8:55 and 9 o'clock, arrive in the computer rooms. You should have done that already if you're watching this. Between 9 and 9:15, you're going to be watching this introductory and instruction video to give you an insight into the 6 different industry sectors. 9:15 to 9:30, it's time to log onto the computers. Here you will be choosing the industry to focus on based upon the presentation that you're watching now. You will then choose a specific career within that industry to focus your research on. Between 9:30 and 10, there is a half an hour research window where you'll be researching your chosen career using a range of resources which are linked on the presentation. For example, there are vlog style videos, there are day in the life updates and also fact files for particular jobs. Between 10 and 10:50, it's time for you to create your end product on the computers. So it will be creating one of the following to summarise and present your research findings on your chosen career. I will speak a bit more about this later on, but essentially it is an option of creating a poster, presentation, a video, a fact file, or another creative end product of your choice. You'll then have 10 minutes to save and submit your finished products to Google Classroom, log off the computers, and then you'll be dismissed to break. In the afternoon, the schedule is the same, except obviously it's in the afternoon. So 12:50 to 12:55, arrive in the computer rooms. You've then got 15 minutes to watch the introductory and instruction video. Between 1:10 and 1:25, that's where you'll be choosing your industry and then choosing your career within that industry. 1:25 to 1:55 is your research time. And then 1:55 to 2:55 is time for you to create that final product on the computers. And 2:55 to 3:05, that is when you'll be saving and submitting your final products to Google Classroom, logging off the computers, and then you'll be dismissed to go home as usual. I wanted to start by talking to you a little bit about LMI, local labour market information. So we are really lucky to live in Berkshire. It is a county that is really blessed with a range of job opportunities. 1 in 9 jobs in this borough are digital tech jobs. That's 2.5 times the national average. So if you're looking at jobs in that particular field, then you are, in a really good place to be doing so. The job opportunities here are actually so wide-ranging that around 41% of young people who leave Berkshire for university return to work in the county. That is the highest proportion of all local areas, which is really showing how many opportunities there are, particularly in tech and within digital fields that we have here. To give you an insight into a range of different sectors, I'm going to now talk you through 6 industry areas. And then when you go on to do your research, you will choose one of these areas that you want to focus on and then a career within that industry that is within that particular presentation. The first area is leisure, sport and tourism, and this is a sector in which people report enormous job satisfaction because essentially you're helping people to enjoy their free time, reach their fitness potential and travel the world. So, that's very rewarding in and of itself. There's also a lot of flexibility here as well, as in addition to opportunities for local, national and even international travel. A lot of careers in this sector don't actually require a degree qualification. They're many people start in lower level positions and then gain promotions as they develop more experience. Most companies will also recruit graduates, of course, from any subject, but if you've got a degree in travel and tourism or perhaps a sports-related degree, that can be especially relevant. There's also many level 3 and level 4 apprenticeships within this sector, so you may be interested in researching some of those as part of your work today. A lot of roles within this sector are customer facing, so they require great customer service and communication. You also often need to be highly organised as well and able to adapt to different circumstances as and when they arise. We've got a lot of local employers actually that would fit into this sector, so something like Reading Museum, Madejski Stadium. We've got a number of hotels obviously within Reading and the surrounding area. We've got Showcase Cinema as well as leisure centres as well. There are a huge number of careers that would fit into this sector, so something like interpreting or translating, physiotherapist, personal trainer, cruise ship entertainer, cabin crew, pilot, you name it. There are lots of careers within this sector. Next up, we have construction and trade. So this industry is very popular with people who enjoy hands-on outdoor work that is quite physical. Also, if you enjoy a wide variety of work, then this could be a sector for you because there's going to be no 2 days the same. You're going to work on a wide range of different projects across your career. As well as being practical, it's really important that you have good time management and good communication because you will be working for clients. You need to make sure that the work is done on time, but also that you're communicating with those people in the right way. Lots of roles within this industry, again, don't actually require you to have a huge amount of qualifications, even any qualifications for some roles, although employers do often look for people who have got passes in GCSE maths and science as a preference. There's lots and lots of apprenticeships as well, particularly at level 2, which is equivalent to a GCSE, level 3 equivalent to A-level, and level 4 apprenticeships, which are equivalent to a degree. If you do a degree in a subject like building surveying or structural engineering, this could also allow you to enter the industry at a high level and in a more senior position. There's lots of careers within this, of course, so bricklaying, plumbing, being an electrician, crane driver, painter, decorator, absolutely loads of careers, more than are listed there. We've also got a lot of local employers that you can research and potentially maybe do your work experience at. Thames Water, for example, Jacobs. There's also lots of smaller plumbing and heating companies like Berkshire Direct Heating and Plumbing, if you are interested in pursuing that kind of field within this industry. The public sector is an industry in which you have a huge choice of locations. So jobs in this industry are basically you're able to do them anywhere within the UK rather than in a specific location because they are roles like being a primary or secondary school teacher, being a doctor, being a nurse, a police officer, detective, inspector. So you can do those anywhere within the country. They also allow you to make a real difference to society and they're very reliable in terms of employment. So we're always going to need to have doctors, nurses and teachers and so on within the UK. So you're unlikely to be made redundant at any point. You need to have good time management because speaking from a teacher's perspective, there's a lot of deadlines involved. You also need to be quite resilient. Often these jobs can be quite high pressured, but primarily really communication is key because a lot of them will involve engaging with the public. A lot of roles in this sector do require a specialised degree such as medicine or nursing. So others such as within policing, they do welcome graduates from a wider range of different degrees as long as those degrees demonstrate the skills that are needed to succeed within the profession. There's also lots of apprenticeships that are springing up at the moment in the public sector, so do have a look at those if you're more interested in that route. Local employers, well, it's any kind of local primary or secondary school, including Maiden Early, Thames Valley Police, of course, in addition to Royal Berkshire Hospital and local doctor surgeries in the area too. Creative arts and design is, again, an incredibly rewarding industry because essentially you're creating beautiful products for clients and customers to enjoy. It can also be a very flexible industry. A lot of people in this industry will work freelance, meaning that they are working for themselves and they are approaching businesses or being approached by businesses to work for them, but they are not employed by that company solely, meaning that you can work part-time or full-time depending on your preference. Of course, the key skill here really is creativity. You need to have that eye for detail. You need to know what looks good. You need to know what your own style is. But also because of that freelance aspect, you need to be fairly business minded too in order to create and actually take up those opportunities. There are lots of apprenticeships in this sector as well, particularly at level 3 and level 4 level. But also there are degrees as well, including more general ones such as art and design, but also more specialised ones, for example, within interior design. Careers within this sector include an architect, a landscape architect, graphic designer, photographer, product designer. The list goes on and on and on. And there's more springing up, every year as the media kind of develops in this respect. Any reasonable sized local business or organisation like Thames Water, for example, will have a creative arts department responsible for branding and other creative output. So you don't necessarily have to be looking just at graphic design companies or anything like that. You can just look at companies which will have a branch that is responsible for their graphic design or their creative arts and design in the round. Science and technology is an incredibly dynamic sector. There is a real excitement at being at the cutting edge of new discoveries, which seems to be what draws in and keeps people in these industries. You also never stop learning, so the research and experimental nature of these industries means that it's impossible not to learn and develop new skills and knowledge every day, which really does explain why problem solving and the ability to learn from your mistakes is absolutely key for these industries. There are lots of apprenticeships in this sector, and often if you impress on your apprenticeship, there can be an opportunity for permanent employment at the company once the apprenticeship has been completed. We've got lots of local employers in this sector, for example, Microsoft, RSSL, Thames Water and West Coast. There are loads of careers also, a great variety such as civil engineering, being a biomedical scientist, a food scientist, a cybersecurity analyst, lots and lots of different careers that you can research. Accounting, banking and finance is our final sector, and people are often drawn to this because there are very high salaries, particularly as you become more experienced and complete additional qualifications whilst working. There is also the opportunity, though, to make a real difference in this role. Essentially, in many of these careers, you are advising people on how to save and spend money wisely to ensure that they have a stable future, which is a rewarding aspect of the profession. You need to be comfortable working with numbers, of course, as this will form a key part of your day. Confident too, because you're making predictions and forecasts about future financial situations. There are lots of apprenticeships in this sector too, as well as doing a degree such as maths, finance, accounting. That can be a really good way in, but also if you are somebody who has done a course which is more in the arts and humanities sector, then there are actually a lot of conversion courses that you can do to build upon your degree, but actually apply it more to accountancy, banking and finance. So you don't necessarily have to specialise in that when you're at university directly. As with the creative arts and designs career, you don't necessarily just have to think about finance companies, accountancy companies and banks, because any reasonable sized business will have a finance and accounts department. So that could be a potential for work experience in the future. There's many careers within this industry like management consultancy, accountancy, investment banking, financial planning. So again, there's a huge range there, and this is just the tip of the iceberg with it. So now that you've had an insight into each of the 6 industries, the time has come for you to choose the industry which interests you the most so that you can take a look at the presentation for that sector. If you're sitting there thinking that you're not quite sure which industry is right for you, then have a think about these questions. First of all, which industry can you picture yourself working in the future? Which industry is most linked to the GCSE subjects that you currently enjoy? And which industry is most linked to any extracurricular activities that you currently enjoy? Once you have chosen the industry that you think you're most interested in, go onto the Year 9 Google Classroom page and look at the post for the Careers Inspiration Day. Click on that relevant presentation and then start to look at the different career options within the presentation. For example, if you've chosen leisure, sport and tourism, there is an option to explore personal training further. So that will be the career that you can choose. And you can then start to look through the resources on that. Use the list of resources and any others that you can find to research that career option. As you're researching, keep in mind that after the half an hour is up, you're going to start to put together your creative end product to summarise and present your findings. So again, this could be a poster, a presentation, a video, a fact file, or anything else which seems suitable. You need to make sure that you include the name of the career, of course, the roles and responsibilities that someone would be expected to do within that career, the skills required to be successful in that career, and also what does a typical day at work look like, why does that career interest you, and then the names and the contact details of at least 2 local companies or organisations which you could visit for Year 10 Work Shadow Day. Just to give you an example of some of the work that was produced at Virtual Careers Inspiration Day last year, these are just a few slides that are taken from 3 different students' work. There were many other slides that they had in their presentations, but as you can see, there's quite a lot of detail and thought that has been put into these, and that's what we're expecting from you two today. When you have completed your creative end product, then your teacher will instruct you to submit this to the Google Classroom post to enter into the competition, and the winners for each industry sector will then be judged by Mr. Gibson and will be announced by the end of term. So we really hope that you enjoy Year 9 Virtual Careers Inspiration Day and really immerse yourself in these 6 industries and potentially even discover your future career.